So winter is just around the corner now, and it's time to prepare your home and get it winterized for winter. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to get your home prepared for winter. So over the next 9 days or so, I'll be giving you another tip for things that you should be doing and thinking about now to make sure that your home is winterized and protected for the wintertime. So tip number one is to make sure that your HVAC system has been serviced. The last thing that you want to do is have it go out in the middle of winter. All of a sudden you have no heat and everybody else's has gone out at the same time too, so all the service providers are backed up. So get it cleaned and serviced now just to make sure that it's in proper operating order and clean, because after years of pet dander and dust or whatever, that type of thing, especially in a forced air gas system, even an electrical system, could cause a fire inside your system. So you want to make sure it's all cleaned out and ready to go for that. If you need suggestions on service providers, please feel free to reach out to me and I can give you a couple of them. Tip number two, while we're on service providers and your heating system, let's talk about changing out your filter. When's the last time you changed out your air filter for your HVAC system? A lot of times those are the things that we ignored. Now that we're getting into the winter time, we still have cold, flu, COVID, whatever. People may be getting sick in the house. So I suggest putting in a HEPA filter just for the winter time. Make sure it's clean, because a lot of that stress on a dirty filter can cause a blower to go bad or put extra stress on your blower system inside your forced air gas system. So get that filter changed out because it's probably quite dirty, probably something that you haven't looked at for a while. So get it cleaned out now, just so you have nice, good airflow throughout the winter time to heat up the house. The other thing while you're doing that too is you don't want to close off vents in certain rooms that don't need it, because again, when you're closing the vents, you're putting extra back pressure on the blower, which could cause it to wear down faster or go out sooner. So make sure that you're changing a filter and keeping all those vents open during the winter time. Number three is to make sure that you have new or good smoke detectors and CO detectors. Again, we're going to be closed up now. There's going to be a lot of reasons that things could cause a fire, from Christmas ornaments or more cooking or that type of thing. So all of your smoke detectors and CO detectors should be 10 years or younger. So when's the last time that you have replaced your smoke detectors? Number one, they're getting a little yellow. They're probably way out of date. So you go ahead and change out all your smoke detectors, make sure they have good batteries, and your CO detectors that too, because again, your house is going to be closed up a little bit more than it has been in the past. So make sure that those are working just in case of a fire. You have some kind of alarm system that alerts everybody to get out of the house safely. Now, tip number four is if you do have a wood fireplace, when is the last time that you've had your chimney swept? I definitely suggest, again, now before it gets too late in the season, to have a chimney sweep come through there and clean out all the creosote buildup that's been happening over the years in your chimney. Creosote will cause a fire. So you want to make sure that there's no buildup in there and that you're safely using your fireplace for those warm, cozy nights. Tip number five is to cover your outdoor faucets. So some of the newer homes and some of the older homes have a shutoff valve that you can shut off the water to the outdoor faucets. But even then, once you shut that water off, you want to go outside and drain those. And if you don't have that shut off, you still want to shut those off and put those little foam covers over them to keep them from freezing. Most of the pipes that do freeze in the wintertime are going to be from the garage where there's no insulation in the walls. And so those exterior pipes there will freeze. And the last thing you want to do is have water spurting all over the place, especially let's just say on your vacation. And then all of a sudden you come back and you have a flooded garage with the water still running. So make sure that you cover up, drain and cover up those exterior spigots, hose spigots that you have outside, and or shut them off if you have a main shut off just for the outside exterior hose faucets. Number six, inspect the seals around your doors and your windows. Okay, so I say around doors, the best thing to do is if there's light still out, close the door and look for light that's coming through. Or you can have somebody on the other side of the door, doesn't matter which side, shining a flashlight all around the seam just to make sure that you have good door seals. A lot of those little rubber seals wear out after time and you won't notice that you have a crack. Usually I've seen them towards the bottom of the door. So go ahead and replace those door seals. Those can be found at most of your local hardware stores, or get a professional to come in and seal those doors just so you don't have cold air coming in through those. They also have those little runners that you can put at the base of the door during the wintertime too. But let's go for a more permanent solution by replacing those door seals. And then around the windows, you're going to notice a lot of the caulking between the window and the window frame is cracked or gone. You're going to feel air coming through that too. So that's another good thing to do, is replace the caulking that's between your window and your window frame, just to make sure that it's a little bit more airtight and you don't have that cold air coming in, wasting the energy in your home. Number 7, a lot of people I know don't have this. So if you have a 2-story home or a home that has windows higher than what you could normally escape out of, you might want to get one of those roll-up ladders. Again, you can find those at hardware stores, you can find them online at Amazon or any other place. Get a roll-up ladder that will extend to at least 3 or 4 feet from the ground, and that will hook around your windowsill. So in case there is a fire upstairs or downstairs and you can't get downstairs, you have a way to escape instead of trying to jump 2 stories down. Get 1 or 2 of those, depends on how many bedrooms you have up there and how separate they are from each other. But have an emergency escape plan with those roll-up ladders. Yes, you may never use them, that'd be great, but just in case you do need them, they're going to be there and they'll get you to safety before the house. Number 8 is in your crawl space. So older homes do not have insulated pipes. You can buy this foam if you're comfortable with getting in your crawl space. A lot of people aren't. So if you're not, hire somebody else to come in and do it. In your crawl space in older homes, your pipes are not insulated. Now, of course, up here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't get super cold, but the last thing you want to do is have a pipe burst, because you're not letting them drip slowly during the wintertime. So buy those little foam cutouts that you can insulate your pipes with, or have your pipes insulated. Now, if you have floor insulation that's already covering up the pipes, you don't have to worry about it so much. But again, older homes may not have that, so you want to cover up your pipes just to make sure that they don't burst during this freezing time. The next tip is your attic insulation. When's the last time that you've been in your attic now? Insulation, like anything, blown-in insulation, rolled insulation is a little bit better, but the blown-in insulation after a while settles. So where you may have had a R24 factor of blown-in insulation on the top, it may be down to a 12 by now, just because of gravity and the weight of things, moisture building up in your attic space. So you may want to go up there and just double check that you have good insulation. You notice that your energy bills are getting a little bit higher, not due to the cost of energy, but just you're a little bit higher year over year. Throw in some more insulation. Is really going to prove effective for you and going to be cost effective also. So check your attic space, or have somebody check your attic space and get some additional insulation up on the top. Number 9 is to trim tree branches. Make sure that your tree branches are trimmed, that anything that's sitting above your house. So you want to make sure that anything that could potentially, in here in the Pacific Northwest, we get a lot of rain that turns to ice, freezing overnight, and that extra weight is going to put a lot of stress on those tree branches. So you want to make sure that you get those trimmed off, so you don't have, in the middle of winter or in the middle of the night, a tree branch coming through your roof or through your room. So definitely get an arborist or a tree person out there to trim down those tree branches and make it a little bit safer for you during wintertime. So with all the pretty leaves and everything that we have out there, the reds and the yellows, what's happening is a lot of those are getting into your gutter system. Now, those are not going to necessarily go down through the drain. So you want to make sure that you get somebody out there to clean your gutters just before it starts raining a little bit too much. The last thing you want is too much rain, the gutter is getting full. All of a sudden now that water is seeping underneath the shingles and into the wood that's at your roof line. So make sure you clean your gutters out, or have somebody clean your gutters out. Definitely be safe with this. I don't want somebody on a ladder who shouldn't be. So get somebody else to come out there and clean your gutters, and just make sure that everything's flowing well. Even the pine needles that have been collecting for a while may have clogged it up. So get out there and clean your gutter systems before the winter time comes. You're going to have a lot of excess weight with the snow, and when it finally melts, it's just going to sit in there, and again, could damage your roof. And that's the last thing you want to do, is have damage just because you weren't able to, or you didn't go out there and get your gutters clean. So the final thing is to stock up on things that you could use to de-ice. So salt, sand, whatever it may be, cat litter, that type of thing, is because your sidewalks and your driveway may get a little bit icy and you don't want to slip and fall and hurt yourself that way. So stock up now before they run out. You don't want to get it last minute. It's kind of like tire chains. You don't want to wait until the day it snows before you go out to your local tire company and get tire chains. Go out there and get some salt. Stock up on that now. I believe it lasts a long time. So if you don't use it this year, you can save it for the following year. But get that stocked up so you can de-ice your sidewalks and make it safe for you to get to your car and out of your driveway and over to work. So if there's anything else that I may have missed here, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to share with everybody else. But these are some of the best tips that I can think of right now to make sure that you are ready for winter prior to it getting here. So have a safe and happy winter.